Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to Dr. Boyce at Nomalanga. I'm here with Nomalanga Mhlauli-Moses from Healthy Black Woman. How are you doing today, Noma?
I'm doing great, boys. How are you?
I'm doing really well, really well. And I saw this article that you wrote on Healthy Black Woman. It came out a few months ago, but it was really interesting then, and I think it's very interesting now. And the title of your article really got my attention, and it was, "Come on, single ladies, you're not fooling anyone." And I said, "Oh, who are they trying to fool, and what are they trying to fool them with?" And so I read down, and you were talking about a lot of the shows that come on, television, like Single Ladies, Scandal, Being Mary Jane. I guess now How to Get Away with Murder might be in that category. This sort of consistent portrayal of single black women. In many cases, they're dating white men or just dating men from different ethnicities, which is very interesting. It's almost like someone wants them to see the world that way. And you kind of, took some opinions that were kind of different from the status quo on this. Can you tell me about that article and kind of tell me what you were thinking?
I'm sure. One of the things that I was pointing out was I think that a lot of people want to support shows like Scandal, where obviously this woman, she's a hot mess when it comes to her personal life, even though she seems to have it together in her career. Same thing with Being Mary Jane. And again, people support the show Being Mary Jane. And then when it comes to other shows that don't have black women in them, then black women will complain, "Oh, look at the way that we're being portrayed," and so forth. But the truth is, in Being Mary Jane, black women are not being portrayed that well. In Scandal, they're not being portrayed that well. So we can't, on one hand, say that we want to be like Claire Huxtable and then also support shows like, and mind you, I watched Scandal, I've watched Being Mary Jane, so I'm not saying we shouldn't watch them, but I'm just trying to point out that Mary Jane and Olivia Pope and those women are not Claire Huxtable.
Okay, so you're saying that the issues. So you're saying that you enjoy some of these shows as well, and that there's not necessarily anything wrong with these shows being created, but there is something wrong, maybe, or there's a little bit of a contradiction in saying that we support these shows, but we don't like how we're being portrayed on these shows. But yet we not only support the shows, but many of us maybe embrace these shows into our lifestyle. Speaking of us, meaning black women, is that what you think? I mean, how do you think these shows affect the way women think? I mean, do you think that it's just entertainment, or do you think that some of this either reflects or is applied to their own lives?
Well, the way I see the shows is twofold. First of all, women like Olivia Pope are out there. I say this all the time. Women like Being Mary Jane, the woman in Being Mary Jane, I think her name is Mary Jane. They're out there. There are women who really have it together when it comes to their career. They're educated, they're smart, they're accomplished, but they don't seem to be able to get it together in their private life. And what unfortunately is shown by these shows is the other part of their life where you say, well, I'm not interested in having a man or something like that. But then their behavior, as in with Olivia Pope and with Mary Jane, is they do, but they pretend like they don't. And that was kind of why I came up with the title, like, look, you're not fooling anybody. If you want to be in a relationship, be in one. If you don't, then don't. But don't have this double thing of saying you don't want one and then having this other secret life where it seems like you're desperately trying to be in one, but it's all a mess.
Okay. So you're saying that maybe this whole, I really want to be single thing for many women is kind of a facade, that they're kind of pretending when really they're because they can't have the thing that they desperately want, they just pretend like they don't want it at all. Is that
right?
Is that where you're going with it?
Right. I once wrote an article which I can quickly tell you identified three kinds of women. They're going to be women who, kind of like me, who will say, look, I want a husband and a family and all that, and then of course I'm open to it, and for the most part it does happen for you. Then there's going to be a woman who says, I don't want that, but secretly she wants what she says she doesn't want. And then she'll display this erratic behavior. Then there'll be a woman who says, I don't want a relationship, I don't want a husband, I don't want this. And she doesn't, and she's okay with that. And she travels, and maybe she enjoys a a companion, but not a long-term thing. And that's something that she says that she wants, and her behavior matches what she says she wants. And that's okay too. I'm not judging anybody for their choices. What I'm saying, and I say it over and over, is don't say you want one thing when you want something else, because you're judging yourself for wanting what you want.
So would you say that there is maybe as part of this contradiction, there is kind of a fear of admitting that you want something that you may not be able to get, that you may not have what it takes to kind of achieve the thing that you really want. So as a defense mechanism, you just say, "Oh, I didn't want it anyway."
Absolutely. I think that happens. I've known women, talked to women. I've talked to so many women who really did at some point think, okay, I want, a nice little life with a husband and kids and what have you. And they got into relationships, and they got disappointed, and then they got into another one, got disappointed, and got disappointed and disappointed. So the wanting the thing doesn't go away, but the hope and believing that they can get it does go away. So then it's easier to just say, look, I don't want this, even if she does want it, because wanting it puts you in a position to keep being disappointed over and over again.
Mm, yeah, I kind of don't know what to say when I see, the Olivia Popes and the Mary Janes of the world. I mean, um, you know, I don't necessarily find myself attracted to women like that. I look at these women and I say there's nothing appealing to me about Olivia Pope. She's worshiping a white man who's married, and and she wants him because he's powerful and rich, and most black men, can't be president of the United States. So if that's enough to get you to, debase all of your value systems and to have sex with someone in the closet, then most black guys kind of look at that and say, well, I can't. I don't even know how to compete with that, right? And I think that it's you see that kind of happen, and you do wonder, what does that look like? I mean, you don't want to get to the point where you're telling people how their lives are supposed to run. Everyone has a right to make their decision, but as you mentioned, you see these women and their lives are just this weird mess, this very awkward mess. What does the future look like for an Olivia Pope? I mean, is she going to become a 65-year-old woman where the best thing she could say is, when I was young, I used to sleep with the married president of the United States in his closet. I mean, that's the most you can say, right? And that does not fit the ideal of what we perceive to be normal, long-term, healthy relationships. But at the same time, maybe we, with African Americans, we're kind of dealing with this crisis where there's a shortage of marriable black men, which makes it hard for women, and then also there is a shortage of fathers of the household because of what the prison system has done to suck so many men out of the community. So as a result, I think a lot of these young women don't have a clue on what it takes to maintain a relationship with a man. Many of them have never lived with a man as young girls, so they don't know. They don't know. And I talked about this with S.T. Brown from Ebony Magazine about about shows like Love and Hip Hop, and some of these guys that pride themselves on just being baby making machines, and they call themselves the creep squad, where they just kind of creep around and sleep with different women, and they're very proud of this. And I said, I said, no woman with a decent father who teaches her the right value system is going to be consistently attracted to that. Like, maybe for a while it might be a phase, but she learns very quickly that that's not the kind of man you want to try to invest your heart into. But I think for some of these women, they're preyed upon because they didn't have that male role model or that man who cared about them without trying to have sex with them, and so they get sucked into these really weird situations, these very strange relationships, and I think a lot of relationship building, and relationship success is it's about investing. It's about sort of being able to pick the right person, the right situation to invest yourself into. And if you're not able to discern, if you think that everything that glitters is actually gold, or if you're always distracted by the things that are going to give you short-term gratification but not long-term gratification, then you end up with these very messy, crazy relationship situations. And that's what I kind of see with Olivia Pope. I'll let you get the last
Right.
word.
Yeah, I actually agree with almost everything that you said. In fact, all of it. It is that same thing. I think we've had this conversation before where we have to think about the short term versus the long term. And unfortunately, a lot of us, I think we all do it when we're young. We make these decisions, or when we're younger, because we're still young, right? Uh, when we're still younger, we make decisions that have much more to do with the short term than the long term. And then I think that you do have to come to a point in your life where you start to make decisions based on how things are going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and generations from now. And then you'll start to see yourself making better decisions. And then another thing is, I do recognize that not everybody has good role models necessarily in their home. And it is incumbent upon us to seek them out, just in the same way when I imagine you did it. I know I did it. Every other person that I know that has had any level of success in their career, when they decided, okay, I really want to make this thing happen for me, what they did was they sought out role models. And when you're seeking out a role model, you look at a person who's been successful at the thing that you're trying to accomplish. And then you let them take them under your wing. You ask for advice, you watch what they do, you mirror their decision making process, and eventually you'll be successful like they are. So we can take that into the relationship world, the marriage world, the family world, whatever world it is that you're trying to accomplish something. I think you can do that.
And yeah, and so if you really look at, you ask yourself, what role models would a young woman have to learn how to build a healthy, successful relationship, especially if you grew up without, a married couple in the house. A lot of times, the role models aren't available like they should be. You'll get bad advice. And what I would generally definitely say is that, it's best to take advice from people who've done what you're trying to do and done it successfully. So
Right.
in so many cases, you'll get this relationship advice from people who don't know how to maintain a relationship, and it's just silly. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So oh well. Well, I will just say that I agree with you. Olivia Pope, her life just a mess. I don't. I can't imagine anybody wanting that life, but maybe for some people they think that's exciting. They like the drama. They're addicted to it. And again, I'm not here to judge that. I'm not here to say that you shouldn't, you can't enjoy that. Just make sure you know what you're getting into, and make sure you're honest with yourself. Um, well,
Absolutely.
well, thank you, Noma. I appreciate your time. It was great talking to you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, this is Nomalanga Mhlauli-Moses from HealthyBlackWoman.com. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, and until we meet again, please stay strong, be blessed, and be educated. We are gone as soon as I find the button. Take care. Peace.